So hello everyone. So in today's video we are gonna to see SQL injection. So what we are gonna to cover in this video. So we are gonna to cover the proper methodologies, how we are actually finding it by the manual way, how we are actually finding it by the automatic way by using the SQL map, and we are gonna to see the different types as well. Each one type if types has kind of different methodologies. There are kind of way to find out SQL injections, and we are gonna to see each one. Actually, in the interview point of view, interviewer are expecting it to how you are actually finding it by the manual way, not the automatic way, because the tools are coming, the tools may upgrade over the period of time. Must need to have aware about the manual way as well. So without further wasting much times, let's jump into the SQL injection. So hope you guys are aware about the SQL injection. If you're not, so you guys can check it out the chat GPT. So just I will explain you the definition and we'll directly jump to the manual way. So basically what exactly the SQL injection? Whenever the SQL query is concat with the user input, let us say here it is the user input is user and password. So it's directly concat to the SQL query. Then this is majorly the SQL injection. So to avoid that, we have to use a parameterized query. So instead of directly concat to the SQL injections, so we are going to see in the upcoming next video. Okay, so we have to find it how we are doing it by the manual way here. So in order to find it by manual way, so our first target is to find like the endpoint, which endpoint it is vulnerable to the SQL injections. Okay, so this is like the endpoint we can have to test out at this endpoint, or there would be you have to go through website, you have to crawl the website and check it out each one point. As you can see here, it is this one with the vulnerable endpoint. There might be the problem. As you can see the list of product, there might be the cases where the list of product it's been fetching it out from the DBs. Okay, so we can test it out. So our first target is to test out or find the vulnerable endpoint. Okay, so yeah, the proxy is on. If I refresh this page, so as you can see this is the endpoint and I send it to the repeater and just a normal response. So as you can see the response which I received is 8.1 kbyte. Okay, and once you check it out, you have to identify the point which is vulnerable or not. So how could you test it out? So simply you can inject the special characteristics. It could be either a bracket, it could be either any special characters you can include at the end of the parameter. Okay, so once you inject it, just check it out the response. So before we got 8.1 as a byte and now the response got changed. So if I scroll and check the response, so yeah, I got an error of SQL syntax. So this is might be the vulnerable if you got an SQL injection kind of error. And but in many of the applications you don't see this kind of an error because error are kind of hidden in some of the places. So you have to try test it out and you can predict it by the response, by the way. Okay, if it is not error based, then we have to move it out for the further for the blind and out of band testings, and we can see in the in this video itself or maybe in the part 2. Okay, so our next step, once you identify the point, our next step is to find the number of columns. So how would we find a number of column? So it would be like by ordering out, order by one. Okay, order by one, but I got the same response, you know, I'm not got an error. So in order to find the number of column, I have to increment this 1 by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, unless and until I got an error. As you can see, I still not got an error. So instead of these doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I could have to test it out for the like binary search approach. I could have to inject 15 and just check it out the response. Yeah, I got an error. This means that um, my column number is not more than 15. Then I will try it out for the 25. Instead of going one by one, I will test it out by the research approach. So right now it's again got an error. So I will inject 12. So instead of one by one, I'm doing this. So again I got an error. Then I will do 6. It's just wait. So yeah. So right now I have injected 6 here and I'm not getting an error. The previous one, okay? I was not got an error. So we are sure that our column value which is lies in 6 to 12. So I would inject 8 and check it out our response. I still not got an error. I will inject 9. There might possibility that our column value which lies in 10 to 12. I'm not getting an error still at 11. In 11 as well I'll not got, but in the 12 I got an error. Yeah, in the 12 I got an error, unknown column. So what exactly it is? It means there are total 11 columns. If you got an error at 12, then there might possibility that there are 11 column. If you got an error at 15, then there might possibility that there are 14 column. Okay, so just reduce it by one. So that's the total number of column. So right now I got an error at 12, then there possibility that there are total number of columns are 11. So the next step it would be once you finding out the total number of column, next step is to check it out with you have to enumerate and you have to find out which one column is vulnerable. Okay, so there are out of 11 column we have to find which one is vulnerable now. So you can check it out with union like this union select, then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So out of the 11 this column we have to find out which one is vulnerable. Okay, uh, so which one is vulnerable? I don't think why I'm getting then is 0. Okay, select. Yeah, so this is what the response which I got. But as you can see, the previously I got a response of 8.1 byte, but now the response is bit more. Why it's happening? Because the column, the vulnerable column is been reflecting in the response. If you check it out, the SQL union, how exactly the union is working. So basically, it's taking out the response from the left column and the right column. Here it is the left column would be your is there in the databases and the right column would be your union and this would be your right tables column. Okay, so in union whenever you are using we have to make sure that the left column and the right side table column must need to be equal. Okay, so in the DB we already find there are 11 column. So in order to use union we have to making sure that these also 11. If you got error at 4, let's say in your case, so there might possibility there are number of columns are 3, then you have to use this much, not till 11. Okay. So as I said, there might possibility that the vulnerable column is reflecting, but we are unsure about that. So if I test it out one, so which one should I consider? So there are number of ones. So which one I should I consider? How I make sure that there are not a vulnerable one? So this would be become tedious, right? In order to find one in our cases. So I guess this is almost done and I will check it out and I will make it big response. Okay. So I have to find which one is vulnerable. So the response are been reflecting, but I'm not sure. So instead of doing these, I will do like concat. I will paste my name like Jayesh and one. So instead of just a number, I'm just concat Jayesh followed by one number. Okay. So once I send it out the response, instead of searching one, I will search by Jayesh. So as you can see, I got an Jayesh one means column one is vulnerable to the SQL injection. Okay, column 1 is vulnerable to the SQL injection as there are multiple columns, total 11 column. So you can test it out in a similar way. Let us say if I'm testing for 4, as you can see there are only two matches. Here it is 1 and here it is second. Okay, if I'm testing out for the 4, let's say, and instead of 1 I will test 4. Still I got a 2 response. It means 4 is not vulnerable column. Okay, but same if I follow these with 2 and replaced 1 by 2, then I got a 3 response. As you can see here, 3 matches, the 1, 2 and 1. It means column 1 is vulnerable, column 2 is vulnerable, column 4 is not vulnerable. So similarly you can check it out one by one, but in order to test the SQL injections we don't need like which column is vulnerable or which column is not. We only ensure that there is must need to be a only one vulnerable column. We already find out there is a column one is vulnerable and that's it enough for us to proceed for the next. Okay, so what I will do, I have to now enumerate the databases one by one. uh, Firstly I have to enumerate the database name, then I have to find the tables name, then I have to dump the data kind of stuff. So my next step would be find a database name. So in database for the SQL injection syntax you have to be aware about that, like in order to retrieve the database name, so I have to use like database. Okay, so again, so right now instead of one I'm using database. Okay, so right now instead of one I getting the database name. As you can see, Jay is followed by the database name I'm got. So okay, so in our DB name I will just paste the name. Okay, so that's the enough. Okay, so again after the database I have to enumerate again, like we have to find a database, what exactly data are there in the database, right? So once you find a database, I have to find the total number of table, right? So how much are the total number? But there might possibility that there are number of table, right? Instead of one table name, I will just find a table name. And also we have to mention like from which database you are accessing, like from information schema dot tables, because we are accessing the tables right now. Okay, plus. Where? From where? From where we are accessing the table? From the table schema. From table schema equal to database. Okay. So now I got an 60 matches. It means that I'm fetching the table name. Okay, so artist is one table name. Artist is one. Card is one table name. There might possibility that there are different cards. Category is also table name. Featured. Guest book is also one of them. Picture is also one of them. Product is also one of them. And user is also there. So in order to get more bug bounty, if you are testing for the bug bounty, if you are finding the high vulnerability risk, so there must need to be a sensitive data must not be there. If it is the sensitive data is there like the user data, which is a generally a sensitive one. So my target is user table right now. Okay. So we can as you can see like we gotten 60 matches. So instead of these we can group these as well. Group concat. We are looking out by one and we got the 16 responses. So now I only got two responses and as you can see here I got the whole list. In short I'm just grouping them into the one. So instead of 16 response I just got and two response as you can see which is reflecting here and here in the two places. Okay, so our target next is the users. So instead of database I have enumerate the database table. Okay, so this is how the table we I got. I will just mention here tables and this are the table. So my focus is here user focus. Okay, so right now what I will do, I have to find, I have to dump the databases, right? Once I have found the table name, I have to make sure that what exactly the column name right now. Column name. So instead of table name, I have to find out the column name right now. So I have to change this schema to the column. Okay, I have to change this schema to the columns and as well I have to include table name equal to users because we found out and we have to mention the specifically I have to retrieve the column name of this particular user because we are focusing on this only one, right? So we have to mention this as well. So I will just send it out. So right now I'm not getting, I got an error. So the error which told table schema. Okay, instead of and we have to make sure that this is and means the database and this table user must need to be the same. Okay, then only I forgot and so right now I got an data from the user table like the column name. So I got these. So I will just go into this and I will just column name I will just mention here and just paste it out. So inside the table user table. I got this column name. So address is there, card is there, credit card might be, email, name, password. So username, uname, and password is there, which is we are targeting. So instead of this, we can target this whole. Let me copy these, come here, and just for I will just pasting here and will delete this later. So I have to manipulate this query right now as well. Okay. So instead of right now, I'm fetching column name. So what I will do, I have to enumerate the things right now. Okay. So instead of doing these, what I will do, I will concat everything into the one place. I will concat everything into the one place. Let's say, firstly, I will do Jayesh because we have to find out like Jayesh. Then I will mention first uname, okay, and I will give just colon just for understanding. Then password, then again colon, and then credit card, and then email, and then phone. That's enough, I guess. And once I done this from Informatica's information schema, not I can just mention like from star equal to directly I can mention the table name right now because I do have a table name from users. I'm getting the error from users. Okay, I forgot to comment it out. Again, I got an error. Let me check it out. Is there any place where I miss out anything? From users. From users concat. Okay, I missed out this. Catch. I use these multiple times. Concat. Now it's fine. Yeah, and I will just go to this. As you can see, I can see uname. I have mentioned uname first, after Jayesh, and then password, and then credit card information. This is basically a dummy website and dummy data. Email kalkiexample.com and the phone number 9999. So I have username and password like test. Let's go and jump back to the websites and in the sign up, login, I will mention test. Even if it is dummy website, already you have given the test because there are only one user. If there are multiple users, then we can able to fetch it out the different data because it's a dummy website, so only one user is there. If I log in, yeah, I could have already logged in out. Okay, because this is how it works. Okay, so this is the manual way of approach, and we can simply do similar way by using SQL map. I just want to take break.